Mike?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. We're on. All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the January 27th, 2020 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. Would you please join me in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. I'm Jeff Benton, President of the Board. To my right is our Vice President, Gary Merrill, and our Administrator, Mike Fromer. To my left is fellow Commissioner Barb Lewis, and our clerk today is Jennifer Walraven. You can start.
Resolution number 20-87, in the matter of approving electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held January 23rd, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 2087. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We do not have any public comment today, so that brings us to item number 3, resolution number 2088, in the matter of approving purchase orders and announce certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0124 and memo transfers in batch number MTA 0124.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 2088. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 2089, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 2089. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 2090, in the matter of canceling the commissioners' sessions scheduled for Monday, March 2nd, 2020, Monday, April 6th, 2020, and Thursday, April 9th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 2090. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 2091, in the matter of approving the Child Placement Service contract and First Amendment between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, the Delaware County Department of Job and Family Services, and Child Placement Provider Youth Intensive Services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion,
Good morning, Commissioners. Bob Anderson, Director of Job and Family Services. This is a new provider to the county. We've contacted this provider. We had a youth placed in our care, and this was the only provider we could find to provide the services needed. And so we're doing the blanket contract with them through the end of June that we can renew.
okay, vote.
Vote on motion 2092. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 2093, a matter approving a transfer of funds for Job and Family Services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion,
And this is our quarterly transfer from our Workforce Investment Fund and our Children's Services Fund. We do that after we close out each quarter, and the money will then be transferred into our Public Assistance Fund.
okay, vote.
Vote on motion 2093. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2094, in the matter of approving a cooperation agreement between the Delaware County and Delaware City for reorganization of central traffic signal software system.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, like to point out, is regionalization.
Yes.
Not a
Oh,
reorganization. No problem. Those words have different meanings. So,
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer. We've been working for some time with the City of Delaware on an agreement to implement central control of our traffic signal system. ODOT provides some funding to local agencies, and the city has procured funding through ODOT to put their traffic signal system on. The program is called Centrax, but it's basically a central monitoring, computerized monitoring of traffic signals. We would, under this agreement, join with the city, pay our proportionate share of that system based on the number of traffic signals we maintain. And then the costs shown in this agreement would cover the startup costs, and then there would be ongoing maintenance costs that are significantly less than this. But we think it's a great idea. We currently actually work with ODOT using this software, but ODOT is in the process of basically those locals that have an opportunity to run their own systems, move them off of the ODOT system. We've reached a number of signals now. We're around 30 traffic signals that we maintain, and so ODOT would prefer that the locals handle their own systems at that time. So anyway, we're very happy to move forward with this and asking for your approval.
You said the city was getting grant dollars. Are we getting grant dollars or not? Or-
We're sharing in the grant dollars to start up the program, yes.
I mean, I think we're all for, synchronizing traffic signals, which I think is what this accomplishes.
does.
What specific boundaries and key roads does this cover then?
This would cover all county traffic signals, all 30 of our signals. Not only does it provide coordination, which you mentioned, so to optimize traffic flow on key corridors, but also remote monitoring of those signals. So when there's a power outage, our crews get notified once those signals go on battery backup. If it's going to be an extended outage, the crews can go out there with a generator for a longer term hookup. If there's any type of conflict, or if the traffic signal goes into flash for any reason, our crews get notified of that. And so that's probably just as important as the coordination itself to keep the traffic signals running. But it is countywide. This would cover all county signals as well as the city signals, and then we would be able to add to this system as we take on new signals.
Do the townships maintain signals?
Currently, no, but Orange Township, I believe, will be the first township to take on new traffic signals on Orange Road east of 23, and we are working with the township to handle the maintenance of those signals.
Would that go into this program as well?
It would.
Okay. What about the other cities, like Powell and Sunbury, soon to be a city?
Yes, so that's a good question. The we have several signals on Sawmill Parkway that are the maintenance responsibility of Powell, but in terms of the corridor synchronization, those signals would go into the system. Powell would then Delaware County pay us its share. Basically, we would be the ones that handle the synchronization of those signals, but they would pay for the maintenance, and then all the notifications for power outages and so forth would go to the city.
When you say synchronization, my interpretation of that is when I'm traveling on 23, the lights change in a fashion, minimizes the number of stops we have to make. Is that?
That's correct, yes.
So sometimes that gets to be depending on which jurisdiction is making that decision, it probably could get a different answer, or is it working well together, I guess is a question.
Yes, you're absolutely right. For instance, Sawmill Parkway, our office works with the city of Powell to handle the coordination. So we actually set the coordination, the synchronization of those signals, and then the city can basically handles the maintenance of those signals.
I take it that this is really common in urban areas?
It is very common. We are obviously becoming more urbanized with our infrastructure, and so it was really only a matter of time until we knew we would have to do this.
What's the timeline on this then, Rob?
We'll implement the new system probably this spring or early summer. You won't see any change, or we won't see much change, because most of our signals are currently on the ODOT Centrac system. This simply transfers them over to the new city Centrac system, and we'll get the same notifications and use the same program we already are.
Okay, well, good. I think everybody will appreciate the reduced wait times, the reduced number of stops, fuel savings, exhaust savings. So
One last question. When you're 23 from the south, Franklin County, they won't be on this, I assume they're not on the same system, or would be, or would not be?
They will not, and this will not include any ODOT signals, and so signals on state routes, as I said.
23 is not included?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
So now, with that said, Centrax is the exact same program. So one of the benefits is that it uses the same timing basically, so we can set our coordination for our signals based off ODOT's signal timing. So when we do have roads that intersect Route 23, we can easily try to optimize our traffic flow on our roads in coordination with ODOT.
So kind of to Commissioner Merrill's point, ODOT already controls 23, 36, the other
do.
state routes, 3, et cetera.
You say roads, I'm kind of curious about the roads that intersect, let's take Powell Road and 23. So the east-west, we control, the north-south, they control?
Correct.
Okay.
Learn something every day.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, this is interesting.
Now, they control the entire timing of the signal on 23, but for instance, we can set the east-west traffic flow based on when the traffic signal is programmed to go green in the east-west direction. So that's what I'm referring to.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. We'll take a vote.
Vote on motion 2094, Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 2095, in the matter of awarding the bid for the 2020 Drainage Maintenance Annual Contract for Delaware County.
So move.
Discussion.
We received, I believe, 3 bids for this contract. This would provide for the maintenance of our ditches primarily through the year. There's several different pay items for kind of routine ditch cleaning and ditch maintenance work. We're recommending a non-exclusive award to all 3 bidders. This will primarily be used by the Soil and Water District, and so they'll first go to the lowest bidder with a task order or work order. If for any reason that contractor can't do the work, they'll go to the next one.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 2095, Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 2096, in the matter of adopting preliminary legislation pursuant to revised code 5521.01 and approving an LPA federal local LET project agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Delaware County, Ohio, and State of Ohio Department of Transportation for the project known as DEL 21 CR 72-3.85 3.45, PID number 103828, agreement number 727889.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
First, good job, Jennifer.
I was going to ask you to repeat it.
That was a tough one.
This is we think, a really nice project. We were successful in obtaining federal funding through the MORPC allocation of Federal Highway Program funds several years ago, and now we're at the point where we're ready to go out to construction. This project will involve repaving of Africa Road from J. Cox Road up to Cheshire Road, and then Cheshire Road across the causeway, so from Old State to Africa Road. There's actually 2 different pots of money. One is a pot of federal money administered by the County Engineers Association. One is through MORPC. The MORPC is the larger share. Along with that repaving, we'll actually resurface or repave the shoulders, and so we'll have paved 4-foot shoulders on each of those roads, which data shows is an important safety aspect of a road, having a recovery area just off the white line where an errant vehicle can recover before they get into the shoulder and lose control. So very happy to see that, given how heavily traveled both of these roads are. The total estimated cost on this is about $5.5 million. It does include, I think a week or two ago, I mentioned the bridge on Cheshire Road. We will put a new bridge deck on that as part of this project. And then, of course, this project will be coordinated with the Cheshire and Old State roundabout. As I said, the total cost on this project is about $5.5 million. The federal funding will cover up to 80% of that cost, up to $4.4 million. So really getting a nice improvement with some help from the federal highway funds. So construction schedule will start in June and be done probably end of August. 2 other things, we will add turn lanes at Lewis Center Road East and at Plum Road East on Africa Road. And so Those are becoming busier intersections that will benefit from having those turn lanes. So a lot of work going into this project, and it'll be a nice improvement.
And that roundabout you mentioned that's in that same time frame.
It is, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think you mentioned the other day when you were talking about the roundabout that Cheshire will be closed. That roundabout intersection will be closed as well as Cheshire over the reservoir.
That's
for
correct.
a certain period of time.
Yes, we're projecting from June 1st to about 4th of July weekend. We've provided an incentive in both of that contract for the roundabout as well as this contract to get the causeway back open as quickly as possible. But due to the nature of the work with the bridge redecking, we really have to close the road.
Will Africa be closed as well?
Africa will not be closed. We'll be able to maintain traffic as we do those turn lane improvements. And then the shoulder paving is really kind of a mobile operation. They trench out the edge of the pavement and then immediately follow that with the base and the new asphalt.
Okay. All right, vote.
Vote on motion 2096. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
We are on page 480. Resolution number 2097, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Discussion.
We had 10 utility permit applications. These are all routine, and we're recommending approval.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 2097. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 2098, in the matter of submitting certification of total road mileage in Delaware County with the Ohio Department of Transportation for calendar year 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Each year, we are asked to certify the local road mileage on our system. As a result of some annexations by Powell, we have actually lost a little bit of county road mileage on Sawmill Road and Home Road, and so the result is reflected in this total road mileage.
Vote.
Vote on motion 2098. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2099, in the matter of approving permits for use of Delaware County facilities.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jane Hawes, Director of Communications. We have before you, we bundled 3 permit applications in here. One, the Ohio EPA, using for a training meeting, the Willis Conference Room. We're recommending a $100 cleaning fee charge and waive the other fees. Helpline has applied for a total, it's 7 work days throughout the course of 2020. The Willis Conference Room, again, waive most fees, but our facilities management people felt that a cleaning fee of $200 would be appropriate, and both the Ohio EPA and Helpline agreed to that. They did not have a problem with it. And finally, the Vietnam veterans, with their annual recognition of the Vietnam Veterans Awareness Day on, let's see, March 29th. This year, they'll have the ceremony on our front lawn, with your approval. This, I'll remind you, is the one where they do the rifle volley and playing of taps. So that they've applied for the permit for, and we recommend approval.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 2099. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane.
Resolution number 2100, a resolution of necessity for purchase or lease of motor vehicles for the use of Delaware County code compliance, coroner's office, dog warden, facilities maintenance, job and family services, juvenile court, sewer district, and the sheriff's office.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Brad Lutz, Director of Business Operations Financial Management. I can tell you that Jen has done a great job listing every department that will be getting a new vehicle through this program. We are replacing, so there is a total of 19 vehicles on here. We are replacing 16 current vehicles. Code compliance is getting 2 SUVs that are new. Those are for their new employees that they'll be bringing on as part of their budget. And then a sanitary engineer has a new vehicle that they're purchasing. The rest of them are replacing vehicles as old as 2000 up to 2013. So the newest vehicle we're replacing is, realistically, it's 8 years old at this point. So I would say that these are all very worthy replacements, even the ones that may not have the highest of mileage. Certainly at this point, a vehicle from 2000, we're still using because it was a low mileage vehicle, but now rust and mechanical issues are certainly an issue. So I would recommend approval of these leased vehicles for 2020.
These are all budgeted?
Yes.
All 19?
Yep.
Okay. And they're all through the leasing
Enterprise.
program with Enterprise?
Yes, sir.
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 2100. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 2101, in the matter of delegating authority to the county administrator and other staff for certain administrative matters.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Fromer, County Administrator. The resolution is just an update to add in the ability to delegate some more administrative tasks to staff while maintaining our internal control structure to promote more efficiency. So recommending your approval.
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 2101. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
That brings us to Administrator Fromer.
Nothing else beside the resolution?
All right. Mr. Merrill?
I just really had a legislative meeting Friday at Source Point. In fact, all three of us were in attendance. And I always find those constructive and always appreciative of our legislators attending and updating us. And that's all I really have today.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole host of new topics. It was more updates. One key update was like the state capital budget. All the projects that were submitted have been submitted and are being evaluated. So I think they're gaining good support now at the State House for the various projects we've proposed. So we'll see. I think February is the decision time, so.
Right. I have nothing.
All right, I just got a couple other things. One thing I forgot to mention from the ODOT meeting last week was they're going to start on a second lane south on 71 southbound between Polaris and 270. They're going to start that in May. That should help Polaris traffic and so on. So that was one thing that ODOT mentioned. That's an ODOT project. OWU Community Day was Saturday. It was very well attended. It was 65, 70 local organizations were there, businesses promoting their organization businesses, and the place was packed, and both OSU women's and men's teams won over good opponents. So it was a
You
great.
said OSU, I believe.
Did I say OSU?
I think you did.
OWU, sorry, I meant OWU. Both OWU men's and women's
I
teams
wondered if
won.
OSU played OWU. And I thought, well, I could
Now, that
see
would be
where
interesting.
maybe OSU might have an edge. Yeah.
And then just signed up for the text notices that Jane just promoted about the commissioners' employee groups are able to get notices of delays or closings via text. So that's a nice, better way of communicating. Just one more way we make things a little easier in case of snow or delays or whatever. So that went very smoothly. It's very easy. Jane's email has all the details, which is text to 888-777, text. Bank commissioners, right. And it's, what do you? BOCINFO. Great, so everybody do it. So I'm sure they will.
All employed.
All employees, again, of the commissioners.
Yeah, right, not everybody.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You may have opened Pandora's box.
I know, I apologize if I did. So, anyway, it really is a good tool.
Definitely.
All right. So, we do have need for executive session.
Do. Resolution number 20-102, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment, compensation of a public employee or public official, and for collective bargaining.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 2102. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye. We are now in executive session.
Vote on resolution number 20103 in the matter of adjourning out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote?
Vote on motion 20-103. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Okay,
Anything else?
with no further business, we are adjourned.